Going on, Jeromes? We're back. Happy Tuesday. Wait, no, it's Monday. That's whatever. Feels like it Tuesday. But yeah, Vikings 6-8 is what it is. Sorry, we're a couple minutes late. We're deep in the investigation of the Justin Jefferson F. Kirk. Come on, throw the flag. Now, I don't think there's anything that big about it. It's like lots of people are trying to make this into like, oh, just another diva wide receiver. Oh, they're turning on Kirk. Baloney, please. This is an ultra competitive kid getting after it. Probably was open. And also so he didn't say throw the ball, which Warren Sharp initially had quoted. After listening to it a bunch, clearly he says throw the flag. Now, some of it might not be. Now, he might not be referring to officiating. He might be talking about the flag route. So, corner route, 7 route. So, man, this thing goes deep. It's a lot of fun, but is what it is. Vikings are 6-8. Not looking great, but hoping to get a win on Christmas Day because F the Saints right in the face. Like, I understand. Well, you want to lose to get a better draft spot. Nah, F the Saints right in their melons. Let's go. So, we got a bunch of cues. We'll give some shouts here in a hot second. So, here we go. Goat Kogi. I feel like I'm the only one that liked what I saw. The young guys look great. This team is clearly missing the guys that are hurt, and they get healthy and draft a couple of guys with some experience. This team could be one of the best in the league. We just need development a year to get good. Now, I think that's the rational take on things. Also, I love people who get really upset. Well, I told you this team wasn't going to make the playoffs. I mean, those are the same people who are burying this team at 1-5. And now they're upset that the team didn't make the playoffs. Ooh, boo-hoo. Cry me a river. D-pad. It would be greatly appreciated if you could do a quarterback review on Kellen Mond from Texas A&M. We'll definitely do that. Who is A&M playing their bowl game? They got shafted. But, yeah. Kellen Mond is super interesting because he'll have games like he had against Tennessee on Saturday where he's phenomenal and probably should be a high-end day 2 pick. And then there's games like against LSU where he just... But, of course, LSU, I mean, that defense is legit. Even though they're having a down year, that defense is super studly. Brady Miller, we need more Tombstone quotes. They've been great. You're a daisy if you do. Oakview, your reaction to the uncensored clip of JJ when Kirk overthrew him, said, F Kirk, come on, throw the ball. We're working on the video. We'll release it after a live stream. Chris Utek, will the Vikings cut Cousins or restructure his pay next year? Well, the thing about restructuring is if you do that, you're just kicking the can down the road. And Kirk's $35 million fully guaranteed 2022 base salary becomes guaranteed on the 3rd day of the new league year. So if they restructure, they likely have to add on a year on an extension and kick some of that cap money down the line. Now, would they do that? I don't know. But yeah, cutting him, so that'd be $41 million dead. I don't think they'll do that. I don't. Benny 8. Just want to say I love watching your videos, man. Skull from Germany. Skull. Guten Tag. T-Rag. Is it just me or does it feel so good to see a team self-implode, trying to tank, not get the number 1 overall pick? I love that. I don't want us to adopt the NBA lottery system. Yeah, so we've talked about how it's nearly impossible to tank because players, I mean, Mekhi Becton's getting after it today. I mean, Mekhi Becton, the number 11 overall pick out of Louisville, has been phenomenal this year for the Jets at left tackle. I have my doubts, but he's played great. So you calling out Jet fans is not real fans when they're pissed about that they won a game. Becton has a point, man. And it's impossible to tank because players will always play to win. They're always going to play their hearts out. Either they're competitive, they love winning, or also they want to put on some good tape so they can have a job next year. Both those things can be true. And also coaches are going to coach to try and have some semblance of a job next year. Maybe not even here, but maybe they catch on somewhere else. So if you want to tank, it would have to come from the top. It would have to come from a GM field, a team that was so bad, just talent-wise, they could not compete even if they're giving full effort. But also, you as a GM, that's going to get your ass fired too because you pick these guys. So there's too many fail-safes. It would have to be like an owner going to a GM and head coach, hey, I'm not going to fire you, but just tank. It's hard. Worm Skull. I really love the idea of us getting Wyatt Davis in the draft, but game after game of watching this horrible pass rush, I'm beginning to think that Gregory Rousseau mock drafts are starting to make sense. Hunter is going to need some help when he returns. Huge fan of yours. Skull production value. Hey, thank you. So I see the merit of it, as well as, I mean, every single year, like, well, there's no Chase Young in this draft. I mean, even Gregory Rousseau, if he had played this year, could he have pushed his way up there? Maybe. I do question if he has enough bend to get around the edge consistently in the league. I think Quiddipe is a much more well-rounded, but also much more meat and potato edge rusher who could also kick inside. So there's no Chase Young in this year's draft. I mean, could you say that? Could they drop out of the top 10? Could there be not a single edge rusher taking the top 10? I could see it. I think it's possible. But I understand, like, this year, like, the top tier edge guys, like, there is a tier, and then there's a pretty big drop. But there's not a tier, but there's a tier, right? Offensive line, there's like a dozen guys that I would not mind at all. It complicates things not having a second round pick. Also, you know, my early draft crush, Zion Johnson from Boston College, the guard tackle. He's probably going to go high second round. You could see that. So maybe the Vikings maneuver there. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, draft season. I love the draft, man. Zach Farmer. No knock on Dalvin. I love him and he's elite. There's always a but, isn't there? But I can see why Kubiak always has 1,000-yard rushers. It's bound to happen when you have one dude carrying the rock 700 times, no matter what the score is. Well, we're going to do not give Dalvin the ball? Doesn't make sense. John Anderson TV. I'm still really pissed about the game. And also, it's not like Dalvin's getting 2.2 yards per carry, man. I mean, the offensive line has been phenomenal. I mean, Dalvin Cook had 5.5 yards per carry against the Bears front seven. I mean, it's not like it's just like run. No, I mean, Dalvin is absolutely dynamic. That's a stupid point. John Anderson TV. I'm still really pissed about the game, so let's all laugh at the Jets butt filming their tank for Trevor. It's almost like karma comes in. Like, you play to win the game. Shiver Timbers. Even though we probably won't make the playoffs, I still find it's pretty cool that we went from 1-5 to the 7th seed at one point. Yeah, it's pretty amazing swing. Just couldn't close at the end. Kendricks was the straw that broke the camel's back. So him being out, then that Jacksonville game got too close for comfort, and then you lost against the Bucs and you lost against the Bears. I think it's directly tied to not having Eric Kendricks. Eric Normal, is it fair to say this current Viking squad is below average 6-8? Well, like the current roster, so taking away Daniil and Pierce and Barr and Kendricks, sure. Well, especially on defense. Offensively, like -1 offensive lineman. I mean, this offense, it can trade with anyone in this league. Absolutely, they could trade blows. Griffin Career. Smith Jr. is a stud, even though he dropped that one in the end zone 2 weeks in a row. He's getting some nice catches. Yeah, that drop is complicated because I think if he actually would have caught it, they may have called Kirk for being over the line. But no. Pull for Skull. Who's the guy from the Cowboys in the Super Bowl? Jackie Slater? No. Jackie Slater's the offensive lineman. I don't care enough. Next up, Pulford Skull. If the Jets came to it was Jackie something, though. If the Jets came to the Vikings and said, we will give you Darnold and their second-round pick for Cousins, Barr, and, say, Rudy. Yes? God, yes. I don't think they would do that, but yes. Gavin Oak. Sleeper team next year with all the pieces back plus draft picks? Absolutely. Samuel Salinger Skull. I'm sorry, Andy, but even the biggest believers like you and me have to face it that the season's over. Nothing's over. Dylan Weber. The worst part of not making the playoffs and having a disappointing season is that you have to wait months to watch your team play and step onto the field again with a bunch of what-ifs in your head. Well, the nice thing about the NFL is that there really is no off-season. So even though, crying in the breast milk that the season's over, looking at free agency, looking at the draft, we got the draft going on. Maybe with the Rona vaccine now, maybe there will be rookie camps and OTAs. I mean, there's a lot to look forward to. Hope always springs eternal in the NFL. Because they did a Super Bowl commercial once where they had all the head coaches singing like Annie's Tomorrow, I love you, tomorrow. It's only a day away. And then the caption was like, tomorrow everyone is 0-0. And it's true. It's absolutely true. There's no other sport where every single team in the offseason, in free agency and the draft, and then training camp think that they maybe can win the Super Bowl or win the championship. They don't have that in NBA. They don't have that in MLB. They don't have that in NHL. Josh Dixon. I'm a realist. This team has got a lot of great potential, but big changes need to be made. Zimmer needs to go. And I like how people say that they're just realistic and then they just want to crap on everything. Okay. LB, even though we most likely will make the playoffs, you can't deny that this year with all the injuries.
So I'm a realist, and Kirk Cousins is clearly the problem.
Oh, I'm sorry that Kirk Cousins allowed 199 yards rushing on the ground. I'm sorry that Kirk Cousins allowed 33 points to Mitchell Trubisky Ponder. Sorry about that. Even though most likely make the playoffs, I can't deny that this year with all the injuries and experience, it wasn't really meant to be. I'm really excited to watch this team in the future. Yeah, absolutely. I think that this year will be an important building year. I mean, these young guys getting that on-the-job experience, carrying over 2021, another draft class, maybe fixing that O-line, getting Danielle Hunter back, the best edge rusher in the NFL. Certainly going to be big. Chase and Gelke. Did you see that the refs gave Brady and the Bucs a very generous spot? Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Now, the Falcons certainly falconed that game, but, I mean, the refs literally carrying the Bucs. Come on. Pulford Skull, I agree with the recap video as so much. Kirk was not the issue. Honestly, I'm starting to believe that the play calling Kubiak and Zimmer's stubborn ways, run, hold back a little slowed offense. I mean, there's so much talent. We'll need to have some hard conversations. Well, I actually, with current personnel and with Dalvin and with the offensive line the way that they are, I'm actually okay with the run premise. I mean, the Vikings gashed the Bears for 5.5 yards a carry. And also, Dalvin had, 78 yards in the first half against the Bucs. And you saw what happened in the second half when they're pass. Not so much. Corey Stenson, would you rather have Zimmer or Nagy as head coach? Ugh. Zimmer. Love the one you're with. Ugh. Kevin Ace. The life has been sucked out of this team, but I can see us next year having a great season where we will get back, plus the current draft class. I like that people are disappointed that this 1-5 team didn't make the playoffs. That shows the effects of just like coming back in the middle of the season. They got spoiled. Y'all got spoiled. I'm excited to see what they do in the offseason. Yeah, me too. Tyler Newman, outside of guard, what's the one glaring need we need to address in the draft? Well, 2 guards. Unless you can get Darisaw, maybe Cosme, sure. 2 guards, move Ezra Cleveland back to left tackle. Now you can address one of the guards by kicking Riley Reif's ass inside. Then the other guard, man, Wyatt Davis. Wyatt Davis is a stud. Zion Johnson is a stud. Rashawn Slater is a stud. Elijah Vera Tucker, I like. It wouldn't be the ideal scheme fit, but he could make it work. Yeah, that Bama kid is really good too. The center. Oh, Dickinson? Yeah. Leatherwood would be a great pick, too. Man, draft's fun. What other glaring need to address? Penetrating 3-tech. Absolutely. Get Twyman, get Onwuzurike, get Stills, the good one, not the other one. Yeah, they just need someone at that 3-tech spot who can just blow up a gap. They do not have that. They didn't have that. They did not address that. So, yeah. Kevin Ace. In all honesty, do you see us picking a quarterback in the top 3 rounds? Yes. I think they'll pass on quarterback in round 1. Also, I think they'll be out of range of the big 4. I think they'll either go offensive line or D-line, depending on the board. And I think that they'll use one of the 3rd-round picks or package like the 4 4th-rounders with comp picks and take Desmond Ridder. I think it's happening. I think it's got to happen. Sela SC4. Defensive line has been the weakest link all season. Even with Hunter and Pierce coming back next year, we still need to get defensive linemen in the draft. Who are your top picks for defensive linemen in this year's draft class? I really like Kwity Paye. The problem is with Kwity Paye is that his best position is probably going to be left defensive end in a 4-3 scheme. Probably an under. So him and Danielle Hunter essentially play the same position. Is that they're both stout against the run. They're both great against the strong side, the close side of the offense. So, I mean, just get talent. I'm intrigued by Rousseau, but I'm not sold on him the way a lot of people are. I really like Joseph Asai from Texas. Just blows things up. Oh, man. We could get our list out, but I'm kind of too lazy. Defensive tackle-wise, I really like Onwuzurike from Washington. I think he's a stud. Twyman from Pitt's a stud. Darius Stills from West Virginia is a stud. And I do like J. Tufele from USC. I do like Christian Barrymore. But in terms of specifically what you need, just that quick first step, that lightning into the B gap. Yeah, give me the first three guys. Next up, Tyler Newman. At what point do we follow the rest of the league and trend towards a pass-first team? Probably never. We have top 3 wide receiver duo, top 3 tight end duo, and top 3 catching back. Run Dalvin 30 times a game is crazy to me. Well, you saw what happens when they just throw. All right, so they do need to address that. They do need to replace Dakota Dozier. They do need to fix things up front. Hutter Butter. What's the percentage of the Vikings going to the... By the way, Kirk Cousins is third most pressure quarterback since week 8. So... I mean, sure, they would love to pass, but if they do that, if they get one-dimensional, the defense can just bring the heat all damn day long. You saw what happened in the second half against the Bucs game. So, I mean, it takes 2 to tango. Hutter Butter. What's the percentage of the Vikings going to the Cowboys playoffs? Oh, so 0. So, if the Cowboys win the NFC East, they would be the 4 seed. Vikings, if they get in some miracle, they would be the 7 seed, so 0. Max McElroy. Do the Vikings need a new offensive philosophy? I understand Dalvin is a beast, but I understand it's too inconsistent. Seems we're too insistent on running the ball. Might be a future issue if we take the next step. Again, they have to have pass protection before you can throw the ball 30, 40 times a game. Yeah. If you don't have that, you're just going to have Kirk Cousins sacked and be under pressured and make off-target throws, and then you'll bitch about that. Zach C. Thoughts on trading out for Zach Wilson? Ooh. Yes, I would do it. Tyler Newman. As good as Kirk's been of late, how nice would have been a quarterback on a rookie contract, pay a proven guard, and bolster the defense with Kirk's money just one time. Well, I mean, yeah, that is the ideal situation. Joe Stupka. I don't know. Let's know where you're watching from and give a couple shout-outs. Joe Stupka, I don't know about everyone else, but that game yesterday just felt weird. I don't really know how to describe it, but it was like week 17, 2018 against the Bears. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Like, at home against the Bears, they just have this weird thing. Also, I like Bears fans coming out of the woodwork. Yeah, we always dominate you. What about week 10? What happened then? Mr. Raining Fire. Why did the Vikings receivers wait for the ball to come to their hands if BC would have gotten up and get the ball in the Hail Mary? Well, he was also running backwards. So, I mean, sorry he didn't tackle the football. At least we can't check it. Gavin out. Would you be opposed to drafting Devonta Smith if he calls us at 14-15? God. I like Devonta Smith. Devonta Smith should win the Heisman, by the way. Screw Mac Jones. I would be okay with that. Like, he's such a dynamic playmaker. He's not the sharpest route runner in the world, but he's just absolutely dynamic with the ball in his hands. Plus, he would help both return games. So, yes, I would be in. David Ruiz, did you see the video? Yeah, we saw the video. We're going to do a video on it. Reaver Ghoul, if we beat the Saints next week, we basically hand the Packers the first round bye. That's whatever. I think if you're thinking about what's going to happen to your rival if you win a football game, then you're doing it wrong. Benny A., would you say Bradbury's already a bust? I was hoping. What? Garrett Bradbury is one of the best young centers in the NFL. He's probably going to make the Pro Bowl. Bust. No. Bradbury is one of the only things holding together that middle of the offensive line. So, I mean, here's a guy who had to deal with Dakota Dozier on one side, Drew Samia on the other, getting Ezra Cleveland, his feet under him at a brand new position. No, Bradbury's leadership and line calls up in the middle, it's phenomenal. He's really good. And yeah, you could look, well, you can't move a 350-pound nose tackle. No shit. Like, what do you expect from a zone center, huh? What do we expect from an undersized center? I'm sorry that he can't hold up in one-on-one spots like a man gap center. Sorry, that's not his job, right? And also, yeah, hey, find me the 320-pound center with an anchor like a freaking aircraft destroyer who can also move like Garrett Bradbury. Once you find that unicorn, let me know. Great. Westworld. God, we're fired up today. Kind of like it. My favorite part is how we roster 4 running backs and use only one all season. Well, when you have the best running back in the league, I mean, why would you give the ball to Amir Abdullah? Cody Kaiser. Why does Kirk hold on to the ball so long? It's a good question. Does need to speed up that internal clock, especially given his offensive line. Juan Lagunas, do you think the Vikings will still have a chance to make the playoffs? 2%. 2%. Joe Mauer, let's go. Shiver Timbers, did Cordrea Tankersley get on the field or am I blind? He was out for like 9 special team snaps. So just getting his feet wet. All right. Let's see here. Daniel Tuma, Skull from Maryland, what's up? Mick Houlihan, no. Patrick Harmskull from Cedar Rapids. Purple Rain, Wausau, Wisconsin. Keep it Skull alive. That's right. You guys are the best. Thanks for coming along on the live stream. Next up, Larry Carlson. I believe they should reduce Cook's snap count now the playoff picture is over. Well, let's see here. No. If Dalvin still has a shot at the rushing title, which it's outside, so I mean he's got like 200 yards to go to catch up to Derrick Henry. I mean, if Dalvin has a shot at leading the league in rushing touchdowns, which he's tied with Derrick Henry. Yeah, I mean, if there's some sort of, I don't have his contract in front of me, but if there's some sort of like statistical bonuses that he can hit, I mean, let him hit it. But yeah, Scoline, what do you want us to get in the first round of the draft? D-line or O-line? I think those are biggest needs. One of those two. OTM Snipes. How'd you feel about our O-line if it's Ezra Cleveland, left tackle, Reef left guard, Bradbury, Olu Udo, and O'Neal, right tackle? I mean, that's what should have been to begin with. But yeah, I mean, also, Kyle Big hitting. I don't know. Sam McMullen. Thoughts on trading Zimmer to Dallas and hiring Kansas City's offense coordinator as head coach? Well, I mean, if they'll do it, I'm in. Yeah, I love me some Eric Bieniemy. Seth V. Herman. Do you think we'll try to keep Todd Davis? He makes some plays here and there and be a good veteran presence in the locker room. I would like to keep him. Yeah, not going to pay through the nose, certainly. But yeah, having Todd Davis, especially if you do let go of Anthony Barr, having his presence as a strong side linebacker, sure. Luke Neeson. What do you think on the Jets win? No, there's no team with a there's no team with a perfect record. I thought it was funny. Also, I think it showed that the talent gap between some of the best and the worst teams in the league, it's pretty damn close. I mean, the Rams were playing as good a football as anyone in the league, and then the Jets just handled them. It's awesome, man. Samson Romain, totally not football related, but kind of is. What are your thoughts on CBD? So I don't use like CBD or CBD oil, but I understand the benefits of it, and hell, for players too. If using that helps reduce pain and inflammation, as opposed to popping all those painkillers, which I mean, frankly, is the biggest controversy that no one's talking about in this league. Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Now, is some of it a little bit of woo-woo? Is some of it a little bit placebo of like, oh, the CBD oil cleared my bursitis and my anxiety and all this and that? To a degree, sure. But yeah, I mean, it certainly does have its place. It certainly does have medicinal uses. And yeah, I mean, use that as opposed to stuff that's much worse for you. Absolutely. Leo R 2006. Sign Yannick if he leaves Baltimore. That'd be hilarious, man. Dylan James, why do people refuse to give Kirk any props on his game? It's a little sad to see. Well, I think people are just dug in on the preconceived notions. It's like debating politics with people. I mean, people aren't going to change their minds, so they're just going to get madder, and they'll just look for news and information that backs up their bias, and any good information that goes against their preconceived thoughts is they're just going to cognitive dissonance it away. So it's whatever. Nathan Schultz, are the Jets going to jet themselves out of the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes? I think they did, but also I don't think it's necessarily the worst. I mean, Trevor Lawrence can't miss prospect, but what if he busts? And if they're at 2, there will be teams that will be jonesing for Justin Fields. And could they ransom that pick, a la what the Rams did with the RG3 pick at number 2 in 2012? I mean, maybe. And hell, maybe they do roll with Sam Darnold. Maybe if they do give Darnold weapons and a decent offensive line, he can actually do some things. I mean, this guy, my God, was the number 3 overall pick in 2018 for a reason. So they may actually come out better because of this. It's crazy to think in the moment, but maybe. Manho Giscus, they should give Derrick Henry the MVP. He's been the most dominant player in the league this year. Yeah, he has been good. He has been good. Who's that dude? Deion a better tackler than Chris Jones? I mean, Chris Jones makes Deion Sanders look like Dick Butkus out there, which is great. Also, God, so hilarious with Deion Sanders. God, what book was it? Oh, Boys Will Be Boys, I think. Talking about when Deion Sanders came in from the Falcons, or was it the Niners? Or it's whatever. But him sleeping during defensive meetings, and then the coaches getting all mad. It's like, Deion, you got to pay attention. You got to do this. And Deion's like, man, I got him. Everyone else, do what you got to do. Because, I mean, Deion Sanders was a one-of-a-kind man. Like, in terms of just a guy with such amazing God-given natural talent who certainly got after it and could completely blanket the other team's wide receiver one. That's rare. That's rare, man. Now, Revis is the absolute polar opposite. Like, Deion obviously liked to have fun. Revis might be one of the most serious and hardest working dudes to ever play in the NFL. Like, there's stories about him in collision low crossers about every single rep is the Alamo. Like, he would dress in full sweats during training camp just to get a sweat in. Like, he would get in fights with teammates on the scout team if they weren't giving him the proper look ahead of games. I mean, absolute professional, absolute hard ass. I love Darrelle Revis. I mean, Darrelle Revis low-key might be one of my favorite non-Vikings of all time. And they both got to the same spot where they're absolute blanket shutdown cornerbacks in the truest sense of the word. I mean, they would just like erase guys. Just crazy. What were you even talking about? No. Manojiscus. Man, would you trade up and grab Jamar Chase, best offense in the history of the NFL, if the O-line plays decent? That's a big if, but yeah, that'd be sweet, man. Jamar, JJ back together, Adam Thielen, Chad Beebe, J Jack's Domain. I think Vikings to make the playoffs 2%. Arizona has to lose out. Vikings have to win out. Bears have to drop at least one. It's possible. Vikings would have the tiebreaker against both of them. BDH is gaming. If Carson Wentz wants out of Philly, no. Bob Tabak, is it possible to just demote Zimmer defense coordinator? No, it would never happen. Carson Harlow, do we win again? Tampa Bay, Chicago, if Kendricks is there? 1,000%. I mean, you saw that Trubisky was absolutely having a field day in the middle of the field. I mean, Kendricks does that. Kendricks helps solderize the... That's not a word. He helps pen up David Montgomery in the running game. Tampa Bay, I don't know. Because the defense actually played decent against the Bucs. They were just put on a short field because of Dan Bailey. And also some horrific calls against them. But Kendricks would have made a big difference there for sure. Bradbury O. Or Gavin O. Bradbury leads all centers in NFC Pro Bowl votes. Rightfully so, son. Also, I like that. I wonder if the Packers center is going to get in the Pro Bowl. Probably. Otso Mikkonen. Do you think that that complete change of front office could take the Vikings from okay to a contender? I think overall Spielman has done a good job assembling talent, but it is rough this year, especially when you're looking back, all that veteran talent leaving, getting rid of Everson, getting rid of Xavier, getting rid of Trey Waynes, getting rid of Linval, and then all the young guys. Even though, I mean, are you really mad about the 2020 draft? I mean, you got Dantzler, you got friggin' Jefferson, you got Gladney, you got Ezra Cleveland, you got DJ Wanham. And now if they're just free James Lynch, I don't know. Troy Dye has looked decent at times. Sean Carlson. After watching the SEC championship game, I'm a big fan of Dickerson from Bama. He'd be a good fit for the Vikings. Yeah, I mean, Dickerson's a dude, man. So he's played center, guard, played a little bit of tackle, I believe. Just a feisty guy. Just a feisty guy who gets after it. I mean, Dickerson, as well as Leatherwood, I mean, I'm okay. It's almost like Nick Saban is a great recruiter of offensive linemen and defensive linemen and linebackers and cornerback. All right, so Nick Saban's just good. Gavin O, Dantzler season, baby. Ah, man. Cameron Dantzler deserves better. I thought that pick, season saver. Connor May, bro, what was the kickoff start of the game? Yeah, the slow roller that went straight to the up man and who just gave it to Cordero. That was ridiculous. Lucas Johns. Apparently, Ocean's 11 that everybody thinks is the original is not the original. I heard a few months Ocean's 11 with George Clooney and Brad Pitt is actually a remake. Just wondering if you were aware of this. Yeah, the original was with like Frank Sinatra and the Rat Pack. Big Grover, Randy Moss needs to. Also, I don't think everyone thinks that the Clooney Ocean's 11 is the original. Big Grover, Randy Moss needs to be play-by-play in the booth. I've been saying this for a while. Put Randy Moss on Monday Night Football. He'd be great. He'd be phenomenal. Chasing Gelke. Sad to say, but I think Rudolph will be gone. Gronklin played so good again. Rudy has always been a favorite of mine, but just no around of catchability like Irv and Gronklin do. Yeah, I think Irv and Gronklin are the future, so deuces. Leonard, 2006. Remember when the Niners helped us make it last year against the Rams? Niners, please help us again. Who the Niners? Oh, yeah, they play the Cardinals. Andy Shong. Vikings should have signed Kevin Stefanski after the loss to the Niners instead of giving the keys to Zim again. Yeah, that may come down to. So we talked about it's always great to win a playoff game, but I mean that Saints playoff win might have changed history because 1,000% the Cowboys were in on Zimmer, and I think if the Vikings would have lost Zimmer to the Cowboys or traded him to Dallas, I think that they would have elevated Stefanski, and you see the job he's doing with Cleveland. But so I said this. So Sunday night. Joe Judge of the Giants and Kevin Stefanski of the Browns. I mean, they were two no-names when they got hired, and they're roundly by the national media just like, huh? But, I mean, those two guys are going to be great NFL head coaches for many, many years. I mean, Stefanski's done a phenomenal job at Cleveland. Joe Judge has got a great pedigree, coach under Saban, coach under Belichick. And, yeah, I mean, yeah, God, they're going to be good. One end, who gets fired first, Bailey or Gase? Probably definitely Gase, because Gase is a fait accompli at the end of the season, and then Bailey, they may hold on to him because of his contract, which is just great. Cooper Gryshuk, who would you like to see the Vikings pick up in the first round? Quarterback, offensive line, or interior defensive line? All. Westworld, Caltras, Pro Comp. Well, we've been rolling out a lot of Drew Bledsoe. He's slightly more mobile than Drew. Doesn't have a strong arm as Bledsoe, but I actually think it's still apt. I mean, you got a big body guy who needs perfect protection in front of him. Yeah. Yeah. I did see someone compare him to Mason Rudolph, which it's kind of fair. Yeah, be willing to wager big money that Kyle Trask is not a first-round pick. Because I don't think the NFL just sees him the way that fans do. Benny 8. Do you think Zimmer should be fired? If yes, who should be his replacement? I don't think he will be fired. Should he be fired? I mean, that's up for debate, but I don't think he will be. Tyler Trulison, and I would want Bienemy. Trulison, what should we do this offseason? That's a big question, man. Dylan James. All right, fine. Fire Malou, fire Ficken, fire Nate Kading, fire Rick Dennison. Draft one offensive line piece, draft a penetrating 3-tech, draft a quarterback of the future in the mid-rounds, and then let's go. Let's go. Dylan James, will we ever not see the low-scoring style like we got stars let them shine? Well, like we've said 17 times on the stream, you can't throw it 50 times a game if you don't have the offensive line to do it. Sko Mitzel, I don't care what happens the rest of the season. I just want Trey Lance. Certainly possible. He may slide. B4L. Is there any quarterback that can work in this conservative offense with a bad O-line? Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's basically doing that in Baltimore. Yeah, because what is it? Like the Ravens' offensive line has been bad lately, man. All right, next up. Josh Dixon. Also, Patrick Mahomes' offensive line ain't nothing to write home about either. I don't think Kirk is bad at all. He's good, but he's not a dog and too soft. We need a fighter under center that can make up for crap coaching and bad offensive line play. So give me Desmond Ridder. Yeah. Desmond Ridder's a dude, man. I love it. MJ the GOAT. Tank? For who? Trey Lance? Football Talk US. After watching the season, I realized how much I took Daniil and Everson for granted. That is a good point. And what's so frustrating is that Daniil's tweak happened like the day after Everson signed with Dallas. So it's rough. It's rough, man. So that's it. That's the Daily Jerome's live stream. I haven't decided what we're going to do this week since it's Christmas week. We're going to have a lot of stuff going on, so this might be the only live stream of the week. I'm not sure, but anyways, we'll think about it. Check out Teespring down below. Promo code FLAG, 19% off everything. You guys are the best. Subscribe if you haven't already. Skull, production value.